What up, team? Welcome to Next Level JJ, and yes, we're back in DCS. Now, interesting enough, I actually wanted to do a bit of a Las Vegas Formula One stream, and then realized that I was a very good Samaritan, and I had loaned my steering wheel setup to one of my best mates. And so then I thought, well, hell, I'd still want to do something that requires my hands to use something else than the keyboard and the mouse, predominantly. And so I decided, hey, let's fire up DCS. There's something in the back of my mind that's been bothering me for a while, and I want to get it sorted. Now, before we go any further, I just watched the DCS 2025 and beyond trailer, and it was the most amazingly cool thing I've seen. It almost brought me to tears. So I'm going to immediately show you guys that. Let's get into that. If you don't know DCS, watch this, and I think by the end of it, you'll have a great idea of what it's all about. So sit back, relax, get your popcorn out, get your testosterone or whatever ready, because it's about to get big. Enjoy. Holy shit balls, Maverick. Wasn't that unbelievable? It's the second time I watched it, and the second time I almost teared up. It's so damn good. But it just highlights the incredible detail and level of work that DCS has behind it. So, hey, if you've never played it before, maybe that'll inspire you to do so. And if you want to do that, it's as simple as going to their website. You know what? I'll quickly just call it up right away. Let's just show you what it looks like. So, as you can see over there, oh, sorry, this is my website. We'll get to that in a second. Little shameless plug there, I guess. But nextleveljj.com, check it out. Loads of stuff, including my schedule and what's going on in my socials and so forth. But just here, simple, go to digitalcombatsimulator.com. And in there, you can download and play this for free. You actually get a couple of planes as part of it. And then you can actually go and pick the favorite plane that you maybe have. And you can actually try many of them out for 2 weeks. So, hundies, 100% get in there. But lovely music, as always, is provided by Stream Beats by Harris Heller. You know, go check them out on Spotify. I love them. I've been going through so many of their different albums, if we can put it that way, and each of them hits a specific spot. Check them out. And then, as I mentioned before, nextleveljj.com. Now, I've done a stream last week in which I covered a lot about DCS and my setup in DCS. And so if you want a bit more detail about the hardware that I'm using, the face track setup that I'm using, and other configurations and so forth, please don't hesitate. Go and check out my stream that I did, and also on my YouTube channel I've made a slight edited shorter version of it, so you can go and check that out. Now, one thing that I need to ask you a favor, I'm really starting to ramp things up with my channel, and you know, to reach an affiliate state in Twitch, I have to have a certain amount of followers. So if you're watching this on Twitch, or if you like me but you're not maybe a Twitch person, do me a favor, head on over, find my channel. The links are in my website and in the descriptions if you're on YouTube, and just go and check it out. Follow me. It will mean the world for me, because one thing you'll notice about tonight's stream, the quality isn't as good as it can be, and that's because I do a multi-channel stream. So I'm actually streaming to all the sort of major streaming channels: YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Rumble, and because I'm not an affiliate yet with Twitch, I have to have a lower bitrate. And so the moment I couldn't figure out why was my streams not working on Twitch all the time, they just come in and come out, and that was because I was running a lower bitrate, and so a higher bitrate. So I had to knock that down. That'll decrease the quality a little bit. So please go and hit the follow button. Do what you can on Twitch. Let's get me up. It's actually not that many. I think it just need like 30 people to do that. So please help a bro out. Anyway, enough of that. Shall we talk DCS? What's the goal? Last time, if you did watch my stream, I started off by doing the training process that you follow to start up a Tomcat, and I got to a point and it just didn't want to work. Now, I haven't done any research, as the stream is sort of just, oh yeah, let's give it a go. And so again, you know, part of Next Level JJ is to learn things step by step and take it to the next level. So I watched a couple of YouTube videos that gave me a better idea of some of the switches I need to flick, including, you know, arming the ejection seat. I didn't know where it was. Now I know. So we'll check that out. But also we'll see if we can just get through, but this time we'll stick to it. If we hit a point where it doesn't work, then we'll maybe just chat GPT and see what I can do to get further. The only problem we had is Jester, or basically the AI that runs Rio, the person that sits behind me that operates the radar and so forth. It didn't work well, and so maybe that's the problem. So we'll try it again. But before we do that, we'll probably just quickly start the jet up on the launch pad. Oh jeez, you know, it's interesting when you stream. Like, I follow jets and all that stuff all the time. I'm very much not a hardcore enthusiast, but I love them. I'm sure you do too if you're watching this. And the terminology just flies out of your head the moment you're on camera. But hey, we're gonna get used to that. But anyway, so I'm hooked on the deck, ready to take off. And so we'll just do that. Just get in the air, fly around a little bit, maybe try and do a landing again like I did last time, just to get into it. And then we'll get into the training again and see if this time I can run it through from start to finish. All right, so without further ado, we'll head on over here. Cool, now I've got Spotify playing in the background, so I'll probably just turn that down, you know, so we can just get a bit of a feel for jets. Now, this particular mission we're firing up into is just something I created. Very simplistic, very straightforward. And basically, you just take off and you can fly around, do whatever you like. And that's a cool thing. If you don't know DCS well, it is actually very easy to create missions. But, of course, you can go all the way up to the most hardcore of setups. All right. Cool. So as you can see, I've got head tracking set up here, and that's very useful because, of course, you do need to be able to look in, and zoom out to be able to flip switches and the likes. All right. So what I want to do here, let's just see down here. Okay. So here's our flaps. Landing gear. Yes. All right. Cool. As you see, beautiful venue. Right. Now, I do need to just remember which buttons I've got configured for taking off. So cat hook up, cat shoot is down here, check. Flaps down. So basically, I guess I can quickly show you if you need to. So if you didn't see my last stream, so DCS can be very complex if you wanted to. There are buttons you can select that makes things much simpler, but you need to configure quite a lot of buttons to certain functions on your joystick and your throttle and so forth. And so I haven't done a full end-to-end job of that. That's when things become quite hardcore, and I want to get into that at some stage. I'll spend a bit of time. But so I've just configured some of what you're seeing over here. And so the things that I'm looking at, which you might see my mouse here, is I'm just trying to see here. Cat shoot means I'm telling the guy on the deck I'm ready to go. Basically, signal him, and he will basically tell the operators to let the catapult go and fire me off the side of a ship. What a crazy idea that is. But most importantly is flaps up, and the reason why is because if I don't get my flaps up quick enough, I can overspeed them and basically just destroy the plane. So hopefully we don't do that. Yes, we don't want to do that. Cool. So we're down in the center, and also you'll see when I look this way, that looks kind of legit, but actually, in fact, my camera's inverted in this mode, which I thought is a cute idea. Anyways, let's see if our jet engines work. Yes, they do. Awesome. And then what we will do, if you haven't watched my last stream, of course, let's inspect our plane. Now, I'll turn that PC sound down a little bit, and I'll not make the same mistake, and I'll remember to turn it up. Ooh, for those headphone wearers. All right, yeah, this one looks familiar if you watch my last stream, but let's barbecue some marshmallows, baby. Woohoo! Turn it up a little bit. Oh, yeah. Whoa. Can you imagine that is your job? Right? You're just chilling back there, making sure everything's fine. Okay, enough with the talk. Let's get off the ground. So just want to do a quick check here. Yep, that's all good. We know that works. And so we look good. Volume is up high enough, I think. All right, cool. Cat shoots down here. Flaps are up there. Let's go. All right, dude. Signal given. And here we go. Well, I actually blacked out there a little bit, which is interesting. Now, I think I pushed the flaps up button. I'm not getting any warnings. What I can do here is quickly check there. Yeah, we look good. All right, lovely. All right. Don't you just love this? You know, Jared Isaacman, if I remember his last name correctly, billionaire, big contributor to space, first non-astronaut to do an EVA, or civilian, or whatever we want to call it. Just legendary dude. If I remember correctly, he's got is it a MiG-29 or Su-29? He's got a frickin' awesome fighter jet amongst a many, and he flies them regularly for shows and stuff, and he uses them for training of the SpaceX missions as well. If I was a billionaire, no, not if, when, help me out, bro. Starts by clicking like in the description, or making some comments, or subscribe. Anyway, sorry, I digress. This would be what I would do. I'd buy myself an F14 B Tomcat, and I would have the fuel made for it, because I understand the reason why they don't fly is because the fuel isn't made anymore. But hey, I'm a billionaire, and I'd have a couple of them, and I'd have mates over. Instead of LAN parties, we'd have fly the Tomcat in real life parties. This is not realistic, is it? Now, hey, if you're watching this, drop a comment, tell me what you think so far, and, you know, maybe tell me where in the world you are calling from. Be nice to chat. And also, what's your favorite jet in DCS? Okay, so what we want to do here is, just gonna pause for a second. I need to remind myself which one is the brakes. I had to do this last time. Sorry, team, if you lost my last stream. Come on, dude, learn the buttons. Adjust controls. Actually, now that I think about it, I have this on ChatGPT. Here, let's see. Okay. Wheel brakes, air brake is B. Okay, so we want B. Okay, and I'm just checking one more thing here. So that would be flaps down, but wheel brakes is key to a different thing. Okay, so we'll just go with. All right, cool. So we're going to brake, then we're going to put flaps down, we'll put gear down, and we'll hopefully have another lucky one. So it was E for brakes. Let's see if that's deploying. Yep, that's deploying. Very good. And then hopefully we're not too fast. I'm going to come down a little bit here. Don't worry, this is all textbook stuff. Deploying flaps. Cool, flaps are coming down. We'll reset our view. Cool, you can see it there on the left. It's indicating that that's happening. Drop the gear down. And then we'll bring up the power a little bit. Okay, we're crabbing a bit. Let's bring that across. This, my friends, is not how you land a Tomcat, by the way. Yeah, I know. I'm doing it really badly. I didn't even line it up properly. Anyway, let's try and just at least touch the runway. Not the way it's supposed to be done, but...
That was a good one.
Oh, and I even got a nice comment on it. Totally legit, team. Totally legit. That's gotta be the most sketchy damn touch and go I've ever seen. Cool. You might not hear that, but you can hear as I pull back, there's like this wind noise. That's the wings telling me that I'm pushing way too much G. I guess if I pull more, I'll stop to black out. Let's see if I can push that. Nope, no, I'm gonna break the plane. Anyway, into afterburners we go. Oh, wow, that was fun. Ooh. Let's go inverted. Nice. So something I want to figure out as well is can I over G the wings? Can I bend the plane? Because I know like a F14 has got a G limit. You could just pull as hard as you want, but I don't know. I don't want to break her. She's such a beautiful thing. Coming in for a landing. Parking bay 3.
Hey, the sink rate is too high.
Yeah, I know. Sit back, relax, and chill, dude. This is all just... Yeah, okay, so there we go. So I reached the point of stall. Nice. Cool, and that's another thing I figured out is you can change your HUD color by clicking on it, which is a win. Yeah, a little bit of low altitude flying over the golf course, and then we will go and do the startup. By the way, I again expect that startup not to work. It seems finicky. I need to invest more time maybe to get it to work, but we'll give it a go. That's the whole point. Ooh, I'm trying to watch stream chat while I'm flying a Tomcat. Not the wisest thing. Choice goes scare the neighbors a little bit. I must say the F14 is such a docile and easy plane to fly. It's insane. Especially if you do the frogfoot missions, then you realize that power is good. There we go. Color is coming back to us now. All right. Cool. That was fun. Let's get out of here. Coolio. Oh. Get out of here. Right. So, for those not familiar with DCS, there is so much you can do in this. And this is where I almost implore you, if you've never thought or heard of DCS, you just stumbled across this, maybe you're one of my friends watching this, I'd highly recommend that you invest in DCS. Maybe just download it, give it a go. You know, there's settings you can change to make it super easy to fly, and you can just have some fun. There is instant action. There's quick action generators, or just generate something depending on what jet or whatever you want. There are missions, both those created in the game, but also missions that you can create yourself. There's campaigns, obviously there's multiplayer. Hell, I can even have a friend or somebody fly in the back seat and help me fly the Tomcat. So in my last stream I actually met a dude who's in Spain, and he said, yep, he knows Rio very well. So I am going to, when I'm a bit more comfortable, definitely reach out to him or her, I'm not 100% sure, and get them in the back seat and take things to the next level. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go through to training. Okay, now in training, F14, you'll see there's simply the first one we need to get through, pilot cold start. Actually, I'm just going to go to audio, turn down the music because it sounds a bit weird. And by the way, I would say I believe you can change the background of DCS for the start of it, but it's just a very boring background, I must admit, out of the box. I'm sure you can change it, but come on, you saw that video, there's some amazing footage. And then this is your background in DCS. Anyway, maybe it inspires you to go fly low level, whatever. Okay, let's get into it, y'all. Let's go training, F14, pilot cold startup, and fingers crossed, maybe we can get through this one. Maybe, just maybe. It was quite technical. There's a lot of things that I had to click that the guy just spoke about, and I had no idea. And so, hopefully, nope. Hopefully it works. Cool. I can see there's 4 people watching. This is a good thing, you know, as we build this channel, more and more people just join. Please drop a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Actually, let's say, hey, how are you doing? Bang. Okay. And O is a new term for you. Okay, cool. Now, by the way, you'll see that with this face tracking, there is the ability for me to, like I maybe mentioned earlier, is to lock it out. You can see now I'm turning my head and nothing's happening, which is good because I find that in the landing, unless I'm like holding my head dead straight, it feels a bit weird. So something to work on. I'm definitely going to do a stream where I'm doing this in VR. I've got a MetaQuest 2, not the best, but you can do it in VR, and I think it's just the best way to play this game. And by the way, if you didn't know, I'm not running this on some hardcore gaming PC. It's a basic gaming laptop with a 4050 graphics card, and so you don't need monster performance to run this game comfortably. Okay, right, so lock off. Let's start. Let's hope this works. Ooh-wee. For those in the know, you know why I just tried to check that.
Good morning, pilot. I'd like to welcome you to this first lesson in your F14 familiarization package.
Thank you.
In this lesson, we will go through the checklist to start up the F14 from the perspective of the pilot. A prerequisite of this lesson is familiarity with the controls and indicators of the pilot cockpit, which you should have gained from studying the aircraft manual.
Which I didn't. My bad.
As you might know, the F14 has a pneumatic engine startup system, and as it also lacks an APU, we have to order the plane captain to connect the starter air. We also have to order him to hook up the ground power. Do this via the radio menu under category Ground Crew. Please do this now and then press spacebar to continue.
I will do. By the way, hilarious that you start this training with this very loud airplane taking off while the guy's talking. Surely the mission designers could fix that. Or, no offense, that is a freaking cool airplane, and what they do to land on this carrier as well as take off is insane. But this is an F14 Tomcat freaking tutorial. Have a jet take off, man. Anyway, maybe it's too much. Right. So, what he basically said is I need to get the ground crew to connect an air supply and my electricity. So we do that by pushing this, and so we go ground crew, and we need ground electric power on,
Chief,
please.
turn on the ground power.
Copy. Ground power is now on.
Thank you. That's just because this is an old jet and they can't do their own startup stuff.
Chief, connect ground air supply.
Copy. Ground air supply is now connected.
Excellent. Okay, so now we can push spacebar.
Now, switch on the oxygen to your mask. The next step is to verify that the wings are in oversweep. Check the wings visually and verify that the emergency wing sweep handle is in the oversweep position, which is the farthest back position. The over flag should also be visible on the wing sweep indicator. Press spacebar to continue.
Cool.
Now it's time to verify ICS functionality for communication with RIO and ground crew. To allow communication with the ground crew with the canopy closed later on, Set ICS to hot mic. Ask Jester to initiate the non-assisted startup using the Jester communication wheel. The first step on his list will be to check communication. Respond that you can hear him using the Jester communication wheel. Also check that the landing gear position indicator indicates all down and that the transition light is off. Jester will now also start to initiate systems in the back cockpit and will eventually tell you to arm your ejection seat. Do not respond to that yet.
ICS comm check.
Press spacebar when done.
So I think that's where I made the mistake last time, because let's read that. Allow communication ground. Ask Jester to initiate a non-assisted, and you see what I did was I selected assisted. So we're going to quit the mission and restart it, team. That's, I think, where I made the mistake last time. So I should just select flight startup. So assisted means that Jester is going to give me all the commands similar to what the tutorial is doing. And so I've seen this happen before where this person's just talking and your Jester's talking at the same time. It's a mess. So we'll try that again. All right, guess what? We get to watch that plane take off a second time. Ding, 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 ding. Winner. But let's do it in a cool way.
Good morning, pilot. I'd like to welcome you to this first lesson in your F14 familiarization package. In this lesson, we will go through the checklist to start up the F14 from the perspective of the pilot. A prerequisite of this lesson is familiarity with the controls and indicators of the pilot cockpit, which you should have gained from studying the aircraft manual. As you might know, the F14 has a pneumatic engine startup system, and as it also lacks an APU, we have to order the plane captain to connect the starter air. We also have to order him to hook up the ground power. Do this via the radio menu under category Ground Crew. Please do this now and then press spacebar to continue.
Cool. All right, so we remember now. Yo, ground crew, give Daddy some power.
Turn on the ground power.
Another thing I want to figure out is if you can give him two commands at the same time. But we won't try now.
Ground power is now on.
Cool. Next one, ground air supply, connect
Chief,
please.
connect ground air supply.
So basically I watched the video on that, and so
Copy.
because this jet engine
Ground air supply is now connected.
can't start on its own, you basically have this big square thing that they plug into the engines, and basically it pumps compressed air, and so it helps the jet engine start. And so once we've got the engines fired up, then we will disconnect that ground air. Okay, so here we go. Next step, please.
Now, switch on the oxygen to your mask. The next step is to verify that the wings are in oversweep. Check the wings visually and verify that the emergency wing sweep handle is in the oversweep position, which is the farthest back position. The over flag should also be visible on the wing sweep indicator. Press spacebar to continue.
It is good. Thanks, Dad.
Now it's time to verify ICS functionality for communication with Rio and ground crew. To allow communication with the ground crew with the canopy closed later on, set ICS to hot mic. Ask Jester to initiate the non-assisted startup using the Jester communication wheel. The first step on his list will be to check communication. Respond to him using the Jester communication wheel. Also check that the landing gear position indicator
ICS comm check.
all down and that the transition light is off.
Roger that.
Jester will now also start to initiate systems in the back cockpit and will eventually tell you to arm your ejection seat. Do not respond to that yet. Press the spacebar when done.
Arm the ejection seat.
Okay, so this is the moment we've been waiting for.
I'm closing the canopy.
Yes, we did it, team. We armed the ejection seat. Okay. Boom.
Okay, ready to start.
Okay, so now we'll wait for him. Also check the landing gear position indicates all down. Jester will now start. And so we check here. And so we can see landing gear is down. I guess by the two wheels. The flaps are up, not down. The slats are in a normal position. This is quite cool, right? So that actually moves up and down. And then, yeah, you can see your gear in its position here. And then there's no light on. And so we're good to go for the next part. Ooh, mirror, of course.
Check warning lights by pulling up the master test switch. Move it to the LTS position and then push it in. The master test switch is pulled up with a right click, moved clockwise with a left click, and then pushed in again with another right click. Verify that all warning, caution, and advisory lights illuminate. Coordinate with Rio to check his lights. Use this function to also set the brightness of the ACM panel and the indexer lights. These controls are located on the master light panel. Press spacebar when ready.
Okay. I'm trying to coordinate, but it doesn't seem to be working. Okay, and so... Okay. Here and here and here.
Now lift the master test switch and move it to the fire detection and extinguishing position and press in. Check that the left and right fire light below the ACM illuminates and that the go light on the master test panel also illuminates. Press spacebar when ready.
Okay.
Finally, lift and switch the master test switch to the instrument position and push it down to check the flight instruments. Verify that RPM reads 96%, EGT reads 960 degrees Celsius, fuel flow reads 10,500 pounds per hour, AOA indicates 18 plus or minus 5, wing sweep indicates 45 degrees plus or minus 2.5 degrees, fuel quantity reads 2,000 plus or minus 200 pounds. Oxygen quantity reads 2 liters. Left and right fuel flow lights illuminates. Jester should now also confirm that his indicator displays the same fuel quantity. The left and right stall warning lights will also flash during this test. Press spacebar when ready.
Okay, so we'll wait for Jester to confirm. Come on, Jester. Come on, buddy. Maybe he's taking a few seconds waiting for me to look around like an idiot. Let's see. Hello, Jester. Hello. See, this is why we want real people in the back seat. Anyway, okay. All right. Spacebar.
Set the master test switch to off. Arm the ejection seat using left shift plus E. Jester should have already told you to do so, and he will continue his startup now. Once you've armed the seat, Jester will close the canopy and warn you about it. Recommend you tuck those fingers under your pits. Press the spacebar to continue.
Okay.
Now, check and set the following on the ACM panel. Gun rate to desired, Sidewinder cool to off, missile prep to off, missile mode to norm. Also verify that the station loading windows correspond to loaded armaments. Press spacebar when ready. Verify that the emergency stores jettison push button light is out and that the ladder light is also out. Press spacebar when ready. Wait for Jester to confirm he's ready to start the engines if he has not already done so. Confirm that the air source switch is set to off. Also, set the hydraulic transfer pump switch to off. Press spacebar to continue.
By the way, I can't remember my head tracking being this crazy. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Maybe that's a little bit better. Okay, so it's set to off. And the hydraulic pump switch is set to off. It's normal. See, this is where it just becomes a little bit... Why... it's my head tracking so rubbish at the moment. Hang on, let's recalibrate it. Boom, reset it. That's a little bit... No, it's still pretty bad. Let me sit back a bit. There we go. Okay, we'll just
Now,
push spacebar and
move the
hope.
emergency flight hydraulics switch to low. Check that the on flag is visible in the emergency flight low hydraulic pressure window. Also verify control over horizontal and rudder control surfaces on the surface position indicator. Press spacebar when done. Next, move the emergency flight hydraulic switch to high. Check that the on flag is present in the emergency flight high hydraulic pressure window. Re-verify control over the control surfaces on the surface position indicator. Deflection rate should be higher than in low. Press spacebar when done. Move the emergency flight hydraulic switch to auto, low. It is now time to start the engines. The engine crank switch is automatically held in position when moved to the left or right engine position. It will disengage automatically at 50% engine RPM. When the engine RPM reaches 20%, check for oil and hydraulic pressure and that the start valve caution light illuminates. When at 20%, move the selected engine throttle to idle to actuate the ignition system and fuel flow. Engine light off should occur within 5 to 15 seconds. EGT temperature should peak around 40 to 50% and not exceed 890 degrees Celsius, which would constitute a hot start. If the engine crank switch doesn't return to center after 50% RPM, set it to off manually before 60% RPM. If the start valve caution light stays on, tell the plane captain to disconnect the starter air. Now, right-click to switch the engine crank switch to right for right engine, and when at 20%, move the right throttle to idle.
Ooh, and then... There we go. So we should hear that engine slowly start to fire up.
Verify that the right generator and right fuel pressure caution lights turn off at 59% RPM and before idle RPM respectively. The engine instruments at idle should read RPM 62% to 78%, EGT 500 degrees Celsius nominal, fuel flow 950 to 1400 pounds per hour nominal, nozzle position 100%, oil 25 to 35 psi nominal, 15 minimum. Flight hydraulic pressure, 3,000 psi. Then, order the plane captain to disconnect external power. When done, press spacebar to continue.
Chief, turn off the ground power.
Copy. Ground power is now off.
Cool.
Now, to check the combined hydraulic pressure, switch the engine crank switch to L for left engine, but without moving the left throttle to idle. When the combined hydraulic pressure reaches 3,000 psi, switch the engine crank back to off. Press spacebar when done. Now, with the left engine spooled down again, switch the hydraulic transfer pump switch to normal. This should pressurize the combined side from the right engine and maintain a pressure between 2,400 and 2,600 psi.
I don't think I did that right.
Set the hydraulic transfer pump switch to shut off. Also, If it does not pressurize the combined side within 10 seconds, immediately set the hydraulic transfer pump switch to shut off. When done, press spacebar to continue.
So I think that's the step that we missed earlier. So let's just try and see if I can cheat the system. So we'll chuck the left one on. See if we can hack this system. Wait for it to come up. The moment it flicks onto that. Come on. Cool. And then we will flick it back to 0. Then push this down and then push space.
Next, start the left engine the same way you started the right one. As a reminder, the engine instruments should read RPM 62% to 78%, EGT 500 degrees Celsius nominal, fuel flow 950 to 1400 pounds per hour nominal, nozzle position 100%, oil 25 to 35 psi nominal, 15 minimum, combined hydraulic pressure 3000 psi.
Okay, there's our EGT coming up now. That's good. Can hear the engine slowly starting up. Hear this?
It's now time to tell Jester to start the INS alignment. This process can take up to 8 minutes depending on conditions, so it's best to start it as soon as possible after engine start. It's dependent on the parking brake to be set and will stop if that is released. To see what Jester sees and how the alignment is progressing, turn on the HSD and set it to TID repeat to see what he sees on the TID. When you see data on the HSD TID repeat, bring up the Jester command wheel and select desired INS alignment quality. In this case, select Fine. You will now see Jester enter the required parameters for INS alignment and then select the alignment mode. When the INS starts alignment, the TID repeat shows a status bar with a symbol moving left to right with extreme right being a final line. The numbers to the left of the status bar show minutes and tenths of minutes in alignment. We are now free to continue our checklist. Press spacebar to continue.
Exciting. So you can actually hear him or her clicking things in the background. And so you see what we're looking at here. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit more. Do you see the... Oh, you don't actually see my mouse cursor. I need to enable that for this view. But do you see the triangle towards the left? That's showing his progress or her progress, their progress at the moment. And then that will basically go all the way through to the right. Once it changes this, then we'll be good to go from whatever an INS alignment is. Another annoying thing is this seems to just stay highlighted, which makes me think I've missed something. Okay. Anyway, jet's fired up. Let's go to the next step, see if this works.
Turn on the stability augmentation system. Set all 3 SAS switches to on. Set the master test switch to emergency generator. The no-go light should illuminate for about 1 second before the go light illuminates. Press spacebar when done.
By the way, I think my configuration has changed because I didn't have to turn my head so far to the right to see this. See, it says that it's... Hang on, let me just reset this and reset this. Try again. This must look so stupid on stream. Oh my god. It's not giving me any warnings or anything, so I'm just gonna...
When setting the master test switch back to off, next up is to check the augmenter fan temperature control, or AFTC. Begin by setting the left engine select switch to SEC. The left engine SEC light should illuminate on the caution panel, and the left nozzle position indicator should point below 0. Then, set it back to PRI. The caution light should go out, and the nozzle position indicator should now show 100%. Repeat for the right engine using right engine select.
Okay, so
Press
that
spacebar when done.
drops to 0. Cool. So we can turn that off, and then it should come back up. There we go. And then again, same thing, turn that off. You see, we can see our progress bar, the little downward facing arrow that's coming across. Excellent. And you can see that. There should be a right engine. SEC warning. Check. See, we're learning. We're learning, y'all. We're learning. Okay, so that's all down, and then we flick it back, and that should come back up, and that warning light is gone. CADC. Interesting, whatever that is. Okay.
Now, set the wing external transfer switch to off. Set UHF function selector to both. Set TACAN function selector to transmit receive. Turn on the ARA63 power switch, the remaining displays control switches, and the radar altimeter by scrolling up on the control knob.
I don't know why. It worked a lot better last time. So obviously something has changed from a configuration. But anyway, hang on. That's on. And then... Cool. Okay, TACAN is done, UHF is done, wing transfer is done, ARA is done, remaining display control switches, altimeter, scrolling the control knob, done. I'm gonna try... Oh, yeah, of course, we've got to...
Check that the pitch trim is 0 on the surface's position indicator. With no control input, it should read at 0 degrees. Erect the standby attitude gyro by clicking the control knob and turning it until the indicator matches the current attitude. The standby attitude gyro should be erected at least 2 minutes before takeoff. Then, press the master reset push button. Press spacebar when done.
Okay, and so no errors. So far, so good, team. Except for this. So I want to just try and just hold it there for a few seconds. See if that has done anything. Actually, I'm going to sit back a little bit. See if reconfiguring that, and then that, and then that helps a little bit. Because this is the worst placement for a switch ever. Okay. And I have a sneaky suspicion that by doing that, I've upset Jester in the back, because I don't see any progress on what he's done. So, again, we're learning what not to do and when to do it, because I had the same problem before. Right, okay, so let's just... Master reset done, alright.
Now, extend the speed brake partially and retract it, then extend it fully and retract it. Check for a fluctuation on the stabilizers to verify the automatic trim is in operation when the speed brake is extended. Also, fully extend the refueling probe by setting the switch to all, and then retract it. Check for normal operation and that the transition light illuminates when in between the extended and retracted positions. Finally, cycle the windshield air switch. Press spacebar when done.
Sure. Okay. So let's see. Messages history. So last one. Now extend the speed brake partially. Now extract it, then extend fully and retract it. I did that. Check for fluctuations and stabilize. Yeah, right. Also fully extend the refueling probe. Done. Finally cycle the WSH and then push base down. So I think we did that. Yeah, we did.
Set the wing external transfer switch to off and depress the master reset push button. Press spacebar when done. It's now time to extend the wings and check the control surfaces. It's important to note that as we will extend the wings, it is absolutely critical to verify that the wings will clear any obstructions present. If not, or if you're doing a carrier startup, this will be done later. I will inform you at what point the checklist continues when doing that kind of startup. As we have the space, we will now do it anyway for instructional purposes. Move the emergency wing sweep handle to the fully forward position, 20 degrees. Engage the spider detent by pushing the handle down and close the guard. Again, this will move the wings. Select Wing Sweep Auto if necessary to sweep them fully forward. As the wings come out of oversweep, the horizontal tail authority light will illuminate momentarily as the stabilizer locks disengage. Press the Master Reset button to reinitialize the automatic wing sweep program. Press spacebar when done.
We're sweep, bro. As the wings come out, over sweep light will illuminate temporarily. Stabilize locks disengage. Press master reset to reinitialize the automatic wing
Ready to
sweep.
taxi.
Hey, that's good news.
Set external lights according to the situation and check their operation. Fully extend flaps and slats by moving the lever fully aft. Check for full deflection, operation of outboard spoiler module, and that the stabilizer's trailing edge moves up 3 degrees. Verify the full range of motion of the control surfaces and that they move with normal speed. Verify horizontal tail shift with DLC input. Set anti-skid spoiler brake switch to both. Set the master test switch to stick SW. The spoiler light will illuminate and all spoilers should fall down. After deflecting the stick more than 1 inch in each direction, the go light should illuminate. Turn off the master test switch. Press spacebar when done.
Sorry, team. This is a bit annoying to me. I don't understand why I'm suddenly having so much trouble in seeing what's going on here. And annoying that I can't turn my head more than I can't see the bloody screen, and my microphone is not even near my face. Okay, so we need to stick SW. Where the hell? Okay, so we'll reset the view again. Okay, we've done that. Check the message history. Set master test stick SW, the spoiler light will illuminate and all spoilers should fall down. Okay, after deflecting the stick more than 1 inch each direction, the go light should illuminate. Okay. Okay, well, they're up. Ah, that's cool. Okay, so this is quite cool. I'll pause there for a second and just talk about it. So basically what it means is that if the setting is turned on, when I'm not moving, the plane automatically sets up to brake. And so basically when I land on a normal landing strip, obviously on a carrier I'll be hooked on, the moment I've got no throttle and I'm let go of my joystick basically, the jet will automatically start braking. And that's why you'll see as I put input into it, it's immediately there. See, it's gone, and bang, it's back. Pretty cool stuff, right? Okay, and then let's just remind ourselves of message history. And he said, after detecting you go should eliminate. That's fine. Turn off the master test. Spacebar to done. Cool. So resume. Cool. She's down. I'll leave that in both for now. And anyway, we'll push spacebar.
Set the anti-skid spoiler brake switch to off. Retract the flaps and slats. Use the thumb wheel to extend the maneuver flaps and slats fully. Now, select 50 degrees sweep with the wing sweep mode switch. You shouldn't be able to move the commanded position to more than 50 degrees. If you can, immediately select auto. Retract the maneuver flaps and slats fully with the thumb wheel, and then select bomb mode with the wing sweep mode switch. Check for normal maneuver flap and slat retraction. Press spacebar when done.
GC, this is the annoying bit. Last time, they just throw these commands at you as a person who's trying to learn this, and yes, you should read the manual, so it's my fault. But annoyingly, you can see that it's like, now it's like, what am I doing? I have no idea what this dude just said I need to do. Plus, I, by mistake, turned my jet off. So let's just read their message again. So, set anti-skid, that's done. Retract the flaps and slats. We did. Use the thumb wheel to extend the maneuver flaps and slats fully. So the thumb wheel, as far as I know, is this down here, right? But I can't adjust them. And so this leads me to believe that I need to configure the buttons for this, which is a bit frustrating. So we will have to go and do that. Yeah, sorry, Jester. Okay, options, control. So first, message history. Let's try and remember. So we need to see, now select 50 degrees sweep with wing sweep mode switch. Okay, so 50 degrees, I believe, is down here. How would I know what 50 degrees is? That's 55, so open this up. Why can't I open this up? There we go. So 50 degrees, let's see. Almost 68, no. So come up a little bit, 60. 50 degrees. Okay, we're getting there, team. By the way, I did turn you off. Anyway. Where are we looking now? 50. All right. By the way, I could very obviously have done all of this without streaming. I could work all of this out and just have this extremely smooth just setup, but that's not the point. The point is this is pushing me to the next level, pushing me through some hard times. The moment we actually get this thing to take off, that's the eureka moment. So deal with it for the moment. Okay. All right. So let's try that again. Message history. Okay. So use the thumb wheel to extend and maneuver flaps and slats fully. So I'm going to cheat the system and just do that. Nope, that didn't seem to work. Which is a weird thing. Why wouldn't that work? Surely that should work. Okay, we're at 15, that's fine. We've done that, and that's that. So we need to then configure these buttons on my controls, which I'm not gonna be able to do right now. It is a little bit of work. So we're going to do something else. Let's try flaps down. Is it flaps can't go down because of the wings not being fully swept? That would make sense. Okay, let's move forward.
Now, open the guard, pull up the emergency wing sweep handle, and move it to 68 degrees, and hold it there. When the oversweep indication appears, move the handle to oversweep and push it in. Select Auto on the wing sweep mode switch and depress the master reset push button. Set the anti-skid spoiler brake switch to both if not on the carrier. As we're on the carrier, we'll leave it in off. Press spacebar when done.
Just, oh, damn it. Just do what I tell you to do. There's some very obvious reason why this is not happening. Okay, open the guard, pull the emergency to 68, hold it there, the indication appears, and then the message disappears. Lovely templates. We do this. Hold it there, then the indicator appears, move the handle into the oversweep and push it in. So oversweep is all the way back. There we go. Thank you. And push it in. Done. That should be done. That should be done. Get back here, and flaps are back in a normal position. Do I have any warnings? I do. Again, it's that CADC warning. I'm just gonna Google this, guys. Hold on a second. What is a CADC warning in... This is, what does the CADC warning light mean? And how do I fix it? Hey. Doo-doo-doo. That's the Central Air Data Computer. It's a system that measures and calculates airspeed, altitude, angle of attack, air pressure, and temperature. Those numbers are fed to the autopilot, stability augmentation systems, automatic wing sweep, HUD, and instruments. If the light is on, illuminate, it means one or more sensors feeding CADC has failed or is not providing valid data, or the system has lost power. Interesting. I wonder if that's when I pull the power. Common causes, engine off. I do believe I've got both engines running again. INS or avionics is not yet aligned during a cold start. You see, I thought that I'd messed up something there at some point. Air data damage, system not reset after repair or respawn. During cold start, make sure both engines are running and providing generator power. So, let's have a look. Both engines are running. They should be providing power. Check. Check the circuit breakers, left console, ensure none of the CADC or flight instruments are popped. Okay, this is going to be fun. Let's see. So we zoom in here. Lock the screen. Oh, there's one that's popped. On the left, it did say. Left side console, none of them are popped. This last one does look popped. Anyway, we're going to ignore that. And I think we will bat on.
At this point, the checklist for carrier startup or startup without wing movement continues. Depress the SET knob on the radar altimeter to initiate the built-in test. The display should indicate 100 feet and the green light should illuminate. Release and the display should show 0 feet. The altitude low light should illuminate and a warning tone should be heard by both pilot and RIO. Check displays for desired mode. Check IMU heading on HUD, VDI, HSD, and BDHI. Note that until the INS alignment is complete, these displays will be degraded. Check flight instruments for normal operation. Press spacebar when ready. Before we can taxi, we have to wait for the INS to finish alignment.
Oh, I hope it's done.
If the HSD TID repeater still shows the INS alignment page, wait until it's done. And Jester tells you that you're ready to taxi.
He did.
When ready, press spacebar to continue. The aircraft startup is now complete,
Ooh.
and you're ready to taxi. This concludes this lesson. Note that you can also practice the startup procedure with the help of Jester-assisted startup. Try it out, for example, in an instant action cold start mission. Simply select Assisted Startup from the Jester menu, and he will read you each item of your checklist and guide you through the procedure. Feel free to continue familiarization of the cockpit controls and practicing taxiing. Otherwise, exit the mission using Escape, and then exit.
Feel free to continue familiarization of the cockpit controls and practicing taxiing. Otherwise, exit mission. Interesting. Okay, so we're good to go. So why don't we try something here? I'm going to... Let's just see here first. Let's have a chat with Jester. Jester has nothing for me. There's a spot. Let's cancel a firm. And then if we go ground crew. Request launch, salute, rearm, refuel, ground, repair, wheel chocks, ground supply. Description, request launch. So let's go wheel chocks.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
Copy.
Okay,
Wheel chocks are now removed.
cool. Okay, but you'll see if I try to move forward, nothing happens. That's because we have a wheel brake on. So, push the parking brake in.
Hey, what are you doing?
Whatever I like, dude. No. Quit. Okay, so how do we find that? So definitely it's a bit clunky, and there are still things that I don't understand. Again, I really should read the flight manual, and I wake up almost every morning and think, really, you need to read it. I do have a lot going on, of course, but I need to read it to understand the terminology. Remember, if you're watching this and you're a person who knows DCS off by heart, you probably understand these complications that I've been going through. But there are smarter ways to go through it, like firing it up with very little knowledge on the stream is not the way to go. Spending hours offline, reading the material, understanding everything, repeat. You know, like how glad I was to now know how to arm the ejection seat, you know, stupid things like that. And so I should definitely invest a bit more time in that. All right. So remember, we're taking things to the next level. There, we've technically, with hopefully some not major failures, progressed to the next step where we can taxi. All right, and so that's going to be a whole different thing, because obviously you need to configure buttons to be able to engage your front nose wheel steering capability. So as you saw, as I started moving there, I actually had no ability to steer, and so that's a problem. And then of course you have to ask for permission, turn around, you know, kneel the jet, put the hook down, hook it up to the catapult, doing hand signals, get permission. You obviously, I imagine, have to contact the tower as well, and so forth. Looking forward to that. But I'm going to now offline do a little bit of research again, just to understand some of the things that I didn't nail today. You know, again, like that you know, systems test button that just stayed illuminated. Why did it do that? Why did some of the buttons not turn off? And that's probably my mistake. Of course, it could be that every DCS person knows this, that training simulator fails always in those cases. It might be that. But also the Jester side of things, you know, he or she, they in the back are doing something, but it's not always that clear that they've done it. And so you've just got to trust the system. But overall, I feel good. It feels like I've learned a little bit more. We've done another step forward. You know, in a year's time, when we're hardcore F14 missions and, you know, flying other jets and doing crazy stuff, then we'll look back at these days and go, wow, we had to crawl. But oh my goodness, you know, just coming back to that trailer that I showed earlier, just go and watch it. So link is in the description if you're watching on YouTube. The other ones I'll have to go and paste it in manually, but you know, just go to the YouTube side of things, check out the digital combat simulators channel. Really cool stuff, and you'll find that trailer in there. But other than that, that's me for the weekend. We've got a really fun couple of days coming ahead of us. A group of friends, we're gonna have a couple of parties and all kinds of fun stuff, and so I won't be streaming up until probably Monday at this rate. But definitely go onto my at least YouTube channel. There's a live section in there. You can see a bunch of streams I've done. I'm going to be doing a bit more effort of turning these into videos and posting them on my main channel, but also on Twitch. You know, I'm really keen to just start doing streams as often as I can, because I need to reach that affiliate level, because once I do, I can bump up the quality of the streams again. And so if you didn't know, I really want to turn this into a career. I've got a lot of other things going on at the same time to obviously, you know, keep things moving forward, but I need your help. And, you know, it's as simple as just hitting the like button, subscribe if you like to. You know, if you're on YouTube, turn the bell icon on, and you can see when I'm doing these streams. Check out my website, check out my socials. You'll be doing me this massive favor. It's really exciting to me to see that you started with 0 people watching. Now you have 5 people watching. Then all of a sudden you get a couple of likes, and it starts to grow. And it just means that I can invest more and more time into making cool stuff. You know, there are a lot of streamers out there that I look up to, and the fact that they do a lot of additional effort for their content, intros, things like that. And I want to get to that stage. So help me help you. Sorry, that's from a movie. But anyway, it's been awesome. Take care. Have an awesome weekend wherever you are. Go and check out DCS if you haven't. It's worth it. Make space on your hard drive. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Cheers, guys. Bye.